You know? You're what? You're Hamas?
Yes, we're all Hamas.
Well, as massive pro-Hamas protests take over Columbia University, New York Post columnist and part-time Columbia student Rikki Schlott writes that she had a front-row seat to the madness. So what does this say about the future of America? Rikki Schlott joins us now to discuss. You know, Rikki, when I gave that introduction, I said pro-Hamas protest. And, I don't think that's an unfair characterization. We're not just talking about pro-Palestinian or support for Gaza. We heard specifically right there, at least among some portion of that crowd, support for Hamas.
Yeah, I heard intifadas shouted frequently on campus. But one thing that I would delineate that I think is important in the context of Columbia is that they did shut off the actual campus to anyone who didn't have an ID. So it was students only, which is why I was able to get in. And I would say that actually the protesters outside, including the one who shouted, "We are Hamas," who is presumably not a student, in my view and in my experience, were a lot more aggressive and a lot more radical than the students inside. But more than 100 students were arrested ultimately for their encampment on campus.
Oh, well, tell me about the students inside. Okay, so at least in that situation, as you pointed out, specifically the more radical stuff, perhaps, being said on the outskirts of campus, which Columbia, by the way, it's New York City, so it could be right across the street.
Yep.
But what kind of stuff was being said and what kind of points were being made on campus?
I saw divulge, divest being chanted. I've heard cops being called pigs and onlookers shouting shame as students who were trespassing and were clearly in violation of school rules were being arrested. I saw lesbians for liberation, which is really a rich one, considering that it seems like these students don't really understand how LGBT people are treated in Palestine. But it was shocking to me. It's my first semester as a part-time student at Columbia. I knew what I was expecting because I'd prior been a student at NYU, but I really think this post-October 7th craziness on campus is really reaching a new level in the fever pitch. And I would never have imagined that I would watch NYPD officers in literal riot gear need to break up hundreds of Columbia students who are willfully getting arrested in support of Palestine and in support of, I think, a cause that they really clearly don't fully understand.
I think that's a key point. Do they understand? By the way, C.B. Cotton, who works with Fox, a Fox reporter, went to campus and he tried to get a little understanding of their understanding. Here's how it went.
I'm wondering, can we talk to you guys about your demands for the university?
Would you mind? We have like a media team if you're interested in talking to people.
Can we speak with that media team?
Would you mind stopping recording for a second?
Well,
okay?
Well, I see there are other cameras here.
I know, so if you would mind stopping recording, then we can connect you with our media team.
Okay, well, we just want to talk to you all about your demands for the university.
You can see, Rikki, I mean, they weren't interested in talking, I guess, except through their media team, which didn't happen. And I don't know how much of that was directed at Fox. But, yeah, not much to glean from what they're willing to share.
Yeah, they were actually handing out flyers, one of which they handed to me, which was probably a mistake. But basically what the demands supposedly are of the encampment are that they would like the university to divest any of its investments in Israel through its endowment. And they were saying that they're not going to leave until that happens. The NYPD and the university president, to her credit, did pretty effectively put an end to that on Thursday. But I had the same experience, even as a fellow student, saying, I'm a reporter. Can we speak? But these kids seem very interested in protecting their identity. They are wisely masking up and covering themselves in scarves, I think, because they realize that there will be repercussions if they are identified as people saying and chanting and screaming things as radical as they are on campus. So they seem to be really covering themselves up.
And I don't know yet. I have to think it through, Rikki, but there does seem to be something interesting about a movement on the left that A, is uninterested in debate, B, is uninterested in speaking directly about their demands, C, hides their own identity. It's like, in the end, I don't know, are you anything more than a mob of anger? And as you mask and anonymously hide yourself and unwilling to engage someone who disagrees, what do you become? I don't know. I got to think about that, Rikki, but because it leads to a lot of questions about the future of America. But we appreciate you being there and helping us see it firsthand, Rikki. Thank you so much.
Thank you.